I feel like you need no introduction. So, John Draper, let's talk Survivor Series.
Hey, how are you guys doing? How's everything across the pond? Are you guys upset with us about the World Cup match? Are we okay? Are we in good
Hey,
terms?
look,
I want to know where we're at.
I'm only upset for one reason, and that's because I saw on Twitter that the loser has to keep James Corden, and neither of us won, which I believe means he went to Canada instead. Canada now has James Corden.
Well, Callum, I have a compromise. I think that's going to help both countries. If we could just speak for an entire nation.
Okay.
Entire nation. Why don't we just give them to Iran and call it a day?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Because I certainly don't want him back. So
yeah, that's my only gripe.
And let's call it a day. Let's give him to Iran. And let's call it a day.
Have you been watching?
As for the football, John, terrible. We were, no disrespect to the US national
you guys,
team. Yeah, we should have beaten you, and we were terrible.
Yeah, I think they put a lot on what's his face? Is it Harry
Kane?
They put too much pressure on that guy. I'm sorry. It's too much pressure.
They rely on certain individuals, and it's they were terrible. You should have won. You deserve to win on Friday.
Yeah, it was a weird game. I mean, it was not the way anybody thought it was going to go. No. And then, the USA walked away going, okay, we didn't lose. This is great. But then England walked away going, we didn't win. This was not what was supposed to happen.
I'll be honest, John, if England doesn't make it through, which is going to happen at some point, I'll be rooting for the USA. That's my backup team. That's my second choice.
Who do you guys – now we have Iran on Tuesday, which is not going to be easy at all. Who do you guys have now?
We've got Wales.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Wales has been underplaying, huh?
Oh, yeah. All we've got to do is draw. So as long as we don't lose, we qualify.
Wow. I know. It's going to get interesting.
We can beat Wales, right, Jamie? Surely.
Well.
Yeah, you should.
Wales are the same though. Wales rely on Gareth Bale. They've got they rely on one player, and that's their problem.
Yeah, it's too much. You can't rely on one player.
Wales got Clash at the Castle. The least they can do is give us the World Cup, right? I mean,
yeah, I think that's a fair. I mean, they got Ryan Reynolds and what's his face and Rob McElhenney to buy into a bottom feeding team that's not even in the So I mean, right. They pumped enough money into the economy, don't you think? Into Wales. I mean, how much more money do they need to pump into
Wales? Right? Give us something. Give England something for a change. We've never had anything.
Yeah, I know. Just thousands of years of nothing.
Yeah, thousands of years of nothing.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Exactly.
When will England have its moment on the international stage?
Yeah, exactly. Now, I know we mentioned this off camera, but we'll talk about it on camera. He's big timed you again, Rivers.
Rivers, yeah. I'm sorry, did you say Mr. Johansson? I was told I'm not allowed to
Johansson, of course.
Yeah, Mr. Johansson. I was told I'm not on a first name basis anymore because he is famous and I am not. So, but he told me he might send an autograph for the holidays. So, wishful thinking, we'll get a signed picture, probably by his assistant. Now that he has.
Speaking of his assistant, which is me, by the way, I've been told to plug. You can now listen to Devil's Backbone on Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, anywhere that music is provided. You can listen to Rivers Johansson. He's going up and up and up in the amount of plays every single day. Yes. So get on the Rivers bandwagon now while you still
get
can.
On that train. The train is leaving the station.
It is.
So
and it's not going to stop.
Yes, me, Callum, and Jamie are sitting in the workers' car. We're not allowed in the car on the train. We're in the workers' car. We're hoping, fingers crossed, we make it through the servants' quarters and make it into where all the middle class seats are.
What is it? Snowpiercer?
Yes, it's Snowpiercer. Yeah, we're in the back of the coal.
Yeah.
We're shoveling the coal into the Rivers train.
Yeah.
So basically, Callum, it wasn't actually Rivers that messaged me earlier. It was you.
It was me. Yeah.
Rivers is the king of Snowpiercer. Rivers is in charge of Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
It was you.
But of course, and everyone, please check out. Let's check out Rivers' new single if you can. Devil's Backbone. His new single. It's available everywhere where music is streamed.
Actually, I want to try something new. Actually,
and he's got
I want to try something different.
He's got
We
a new
usually,
single coming out next week. With no plug.
yeah, he does. He has a new single coming out
Usually what?
every single month. Every single
Oh
month.
wow! Do we know the new single for December?
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. Even I don't know yet.
He'll have his people reach out to us, John, and let us know at some point.
Yeah, I
John.
heard the B-side is going to be Draper Who. That's what it's going to be called, the B-side.
John, while we're doing plugs and stuff, John, can you tell us, first of all, everybody knows who you are already if they watch Ringsiders. We've had you on plenty of times. We usually say plug your stuff at the end, but let's plug your stuff at the start while people are still watching.
Oh, sure.
So
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You could find me at Break the Apocalypse every week. That's our free comedy podcast where we cover a lot of entertainment stuff, some political stuff. You name it. It's mostly comedy. But as bad things have been happening a lot in the world, we talk about that. We try to talk a little bit about wrestling. We try to save the wrestling stuff for the Patreon because we know that's where most of the people in the Patreon come from, the wrestling. But that's Break the Apocalypse, available everywhere: on Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, and of course, patreon.com/break the app. $5. It's like hundreds of hours of unlimited entertainment there, bonus shows, every show we've ever done unedited, plus tons of bonus shows, holiday shows, hangouts with the Patreon members and things like that.
fantastic. It's well worth the subscription to the Patreon because we mentioned him earlier. Rivers is actually subscried to your Patreon. And that's how big of a deal it is. So if Rivers can do it, so can you.
Yeah. For now.
It'll be after a freebie soon, though, John. You know that, right?
Well, Rivers sent us a notice saying, "When do you start paying me to be on the Patreon?" I was like, "Oh, so sorry, Rivers. I'm very sorry, Mr. Johansson. I'll get right on that." He was like, "Maybe I'll cut you a deal."
He did also tell me he is now too busy to talk about wrestling, so it might be the last time we get him on. So he said he's going to leave it to us to do, which I completely understand.
He also he told Callum and Jamie that he sees how successful Bad Bunny is in WWE, and he said, "When I get to that level, that's when I'll come back on the show."
For the celebrity match. Yes,
him versus Bad Bunny. He wants to be him versus Bad Bunny.
So speaking of Survivor Series, let's just do it in order. It was the was it the women's war game?
Yes, the women.
Yeah.
I didn't. Did you guys watch the pre-show? I did not.
I didn't.
I did not watch the pre-show. No, I did not.
What was in the pre-show?
Good question. I didn't watch it.
I don't know. Was there anything significant that happened in the pre-show? I didn't recall anybody really talking about it.
You two stall a second, and I will find out.
Well, I'd be honest, I never watch the pre-show for any shows. I just don't. I'm just like, put it on the regular show. I don't need to see anything on the pre-show, especially with a 3-hour pay-per-view or a 4 or 5-hour pay-per-view. To have a pre-show for something like that, it just seems a bit much, don't you think?
John, I'm the same. I've never watched the pre-show since I've been doing them. It's I'm the same as you. Especially here, it's midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly. I remember even Soup, we would cover every pay-per-view, and I was on hundreds of them at that point. And I was just like, okay, so the pre-show match was blah, 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 blah. John, what were your thoughts? I was like, didn't see it. We just both start laughing. Like, I don't watch the pre-show. I will not watch a pre-show.
I found out what was on the pre-show.
Okay.
So there wasn't any matches, but there was a recap of, I don't know if you guys saw it, Dominic Mysterio brought home Rhea Ripley for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I saw it. I saw it on the internet, like 7 or 8 million other people did.
Can I just point out my favorite part of that? It was when they knocked at the door and Rey Mysterio comes to the door in his mask, which to me implies that he is in his mask 24/7.
You never know when you're going to get the call. I mean, you don't know. My favorite part, which someone pointed out, was that they blurred his wedding picture because he didn't have his mask in his wedding pictures. So if you watch the background, that's blurry. That's real. That was a smash. I think it's up to 8 or 9 million people downloaded that. Something like 7 million watched it in less than 6 hours or something like that.
And people say Dominic Mysterio is not good. He's amazing.
It's his look. His look is very. He's got a dollar store look. I don't know. His look is just not good. His look is bad.
It looks like he's like he's trying to be like a budget. Do you remember Art Bar and
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, he got that sort of Eddie Guerrero Art Bar kind of going
he's
on,
not in the best shape. He's not in the best shape. He's got a bad haircut. He's got weird tattoos. He's got faded tattoos for a 20-year-old, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, I noticed that right off the bat. I'm like, well, he's like 22 and his tattoos are faded. Who did those tattoos? What, did he get from prison? Like, why do they look like that? Yeah, I mean, they're trying. I mean, they're throwing the kitchen sink for the guy. They're giving him everything they can. He's just not, I don't know, he's not worth, he's just juice is not worth the squeeze. But he's, his father is a legend and everybody loves him. And nepotism, what are you going to do?
Yeah. I really do think there is something there with Dominic down the line. And I think he's only ever going to work as a heel, if I'm honest. I can't ever imagine anyone rooting for Dominic Mysterio. I think putting him in the Judgment Day is good because people are going to start booing him anyway because, like you said, he does have a lot of weaknesses. You might as well put him as a heel in a group, let him learn, see how it goes. I think this is the most I've ever liked Dominic, so I am happy to see in a few years' time he might be a lot better.
I mean, he's making me want to see him get punched repeatedly in the face every time.
Exactly.
Good job. Yeah, good point. And that's his job. That's the real job. At the end of the day, you want bad things to happen to him because he's a bad person and the character, of course.
Of course.
But so that being said, but I thought that was a funny idea. They're really committing to this. Some people were upset that in his personal social media, he was posting pictures of him and his girlfriend, and people thought that was dumb because he's supposed to be Rhea's girlfriend, whatever, Rhea's boyfriend or whatever there. But that's a little silly. I understand that. I kind of get that. Maybe he should just, he's not on the level of someone that needs to be like MJF or Seth Rollins on social media. You know what I mean? Or Kevin Owens. He's Dominic Mysterio. I don't want to put him through that level of scrutiny yet. He barely knows what he's doing. So, but had he been a bigger and long established person in the industry, okay. But he's green as goose shit. And I think everybody knows that Rhea is not he's not the gimp in Pulp Fiction to Rhea, and that she's like some bondage mistress with him or something. And it's just it's people could, just like he wasn't really not invited to Thanksgiving and his father wasn't really probably wearing a mask at the dinner table is so lucha method. It's like a lucha method actor.
It's a little bit of kayfabe, all right? We've got that little bit of kayfabe back. But
so that was the pre-show.
The women's match, though, I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't know about you guys.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
It was, I felt a bit slow at times, but I really enjoyed it. I really I know we mentioned Rhea a minute ago, but I think Rhea's just been portrayed as this unstoppable monster at the minute. I think she's incredible.
Yeah, I'm a fan of hers. I've liked her for a while myself. I know you guys have been big on her too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, big time. I think she's I dare say she's. I don't know how to wear this, and I don't mean in a funny way or anything, but it's almost like she's becoming a bit of a modern day China.
And, I see aspects of what you mean. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you would have thought they would have gave that kind of thing to Raquel, right? But they didn't. I will say this about the women's match: I liked where it went. I liked where when it got good, it got good. The beginning was very rough for me. It was with Bianca and Dakota Kai starting. I like Dakota. I think so. This whole Bayley thing is failing. We've all talked about it. I think on various points. It's not working. The Bayley faction is not working. Io Shirai should be so much more than what she is.
She's a baby face to me. She should be. Yeah.
Fans don't want to boo her. Don't want to boo her. Fans like Dakota. Fans like Bayley. It just seems like the damage control thing started out exciting for that debut there, and then was at SummerSlam, and now here we are at the end of the year, and it's nobody really cares. I will say Bianca working with her first. Dakota was rough for me, and then Io came in, got a little better, but it was a little rough Dakota stuff. And I will say the one thing I didn't like about this match, I mean, I liked the match. I thought it was a good strong opener. The crowd, by the way, can we just acknowledge the crowd was fantastic? I don't know how much of that.
Oh yeah.
Wow. They were into it, loud, engaging, chanting. They were really, and by the way, I thought they were very generous. I think they were a very generous crowd. It's a holiday weekend in the States. It's a Saturday night, long weekend. Northeast has a little bit of a break, and hasn't been terrible weather yet here. I'm 3 hours from Boston, so it's like it was an unseasonably warm kind of. It's like in the 40s. It's supposed to be in the 20s with snow, and it's in the 40s and clear. So it's like, okay, it's holiday. We're coming out of the first big holiday weekend, for the holiday season, kicking off the holiday season. The crowd was amazing. Did you guys notice that with the crowd? I thought the crowd was on fire.
Yes, I enjoyed the crowd. I always say this as well. Like, I enjoy a show more when you can tell the crowd are enjoying it. Me sat at home watching it, I get into it so much more when the crowd are electric.
Me too.
And they were a good crowd. They were a good crowd last night. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed them.
I want to ask,
talking Bailey.
Before we get to Bailey, I want to get you guys' opinion on this. I thought Mia Yim was very out of the element because she had no connection to all of these women who have all these connections with each other. Like some were partners before, some have feuded many times. Some of them had feuded recently. Some of them just formed friendships. Some of them are not really friends, and we've seen them fight a lot, but they have to be together. And then there's Mia, who just got brought back in, who we don't know what name to use because they're using multiple names for her during the show. And by the way, she looks 3 times bigger than half the women in there.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not a huge woman, but she's dwarfing Io and Dakota and Nikki. She's just dwarfing these people, What did you guys think of Mia Yim last night? I don't think she did bad. I'm just thinking, I just don't think we had no reason to invest in her in this.
I've got nothing against her, but and I don't mean to sound out of line saying this. I don't understand why they brought her back. I don't see any upside in her, and that's again no disrespect. I don't mean in a bad way.
I think I know what you mean. I'm not to speak for you, but we like her. I like when I see her. I don't know what they brought her in for. What is she doing?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
What is her goal? Why is she here? Is she going to be on a team? Is she going to talk? Is she going to go for the belt? Is she going to, what do you think, Cal? Do you feel that way too? Like she's just, maybe just there's no build up for her.
I like Mia a lot. I think she's good in the ring. I think she can be an interesting character, but she wasn't interesting in this match. She just felt like an extra part. Where they're like, right, we need someone, we need a 5th woman for this match. Right, who can we bring in? They brought her in, like you said, no real rhyme or reason. She just felt very out of place, and that's not a fault of her. I really do think if they do something with her, she is good enough to be a contender for some title. But like you said, just very out of place. And whenever she was in the match, I just kind of zoned out because, like you said, everyone had such a strong connection to each other. When she was interacting, I was like, well, I don't get it. So yeah, I completely agree with you both.
Who is she? Like, we want to see her and Rhea because they're the 2 biggest stature women in that ring, right? Yeah. Okay, that's King Kong Godzilla shit, right? But they have no story with each other. They don't have a story to tell with one another at all. I would have saved her, put another just body in there that we know that has some rhyme or reason to be in there, and let that person get thrown around. But yeah, that was a standout thing to me was Mia just, and then they're calling her multiple names. Like Corey Graves is not going to call her by that new name.
Well, I noticed that. I noticed she was, Minchin, and then Mia Yim. I was like, well, which one is it? You're going by both, So yeah, again, I've got nothing against her at all. She's
great.
I just didn't understand why they brought her back. Was it just a case of she was a Triple H talent and he wants to bring back all of his released talent? I don't know. Nothing against her, but yeah, she didn't fit in for me last night. But I mentioned Bailey though. Obviously, would you turn Bailey face then? Because to me, Bianca Belair is a heel.
Me too. And Bianca doesn't want to turn heel. I saw that same story. I think that you guys saw it too. She was saying, I don't think I could be a heel right now. I don't think I should be a heel. You should be a heel because no one can beat you. That's the thing. Yeah. You're the next Roman. That's why we'll get to this clearly. But the idea is that I'm so good that I don't need to be a good guy right? That's the MJF thing. That's Roman. We've seen this before. I'm that good. No one can touch me.
I don't want to see a quick heel turn with her though. I do want them to go down the path of her realizing how good she is. Like there's no competition for her, and she goes from being this this unbeatable babyface into this unbeatable cocky heel who realizes how good she is, and there's no competition for her.
Do you know what I like? I think we touched on this on the SummerSlam episode we did with you, John. I want to see her and Montez as like a heel couple, like a power couple, because I think he's going to be a megastar as well at some point.
Probably.
I would love to see. I would love to see as a power couple. Basically.
I would love for them to do that. I think they should just be like, wow, we've seen the light. You listening to fans is dead end. Because you don't make us the best. We're already the best. We walked in here the best.
Yeah.
I want to see that. Like arrogant, kind of like what they tease with Cross in a weird way, kind of. With Cross, it's more about toughness and strength, and I'm a killing machine, and here's my beautiful hot wife, and no one can come near us. Like, and that, like I think Bianca works better that way. Now, let me ask you guys a question. What did you think of the finish with Becky doing that big spot? Like, I just presumed Bianca would be clean in the pen here. What did you guys think of the finish?
It didn't really work for me, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I just felt it was a bit underwhelming, and I don't know if that's just me being cynical. But when it comes to War Games matches, I do like some kind of not a logical ending, but I don't know. It just wasn't the ending not the ending I wanted, but it was just not. I just didn't make much sense to me. And I think it could have been done a lot better. But I mean, it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst women's War Games ending by far. I mean, there's been worse ones in NXT. I don't even think it was the worst women's War Games match we've had. There were so many small components to the match which overall made it underwhelming in the end.
To me, talking about Becky as well, I'm not on the Becky train anymore. I like her, but I don't get it anymore.
It comes across as try hard. I think with Becky, it's like I almost cringe sometimes when she's mouthing off.
She's trying to be tough.
Yeah, when she's mouthing off, she's trash talking. I just don't buy it because I'm like, usually the people she's trash talking, I'm like, they could probably kill her if they wanted to.
Well, the other thing is too with Becky, I'll be honest with you, and there's no really polite way to say this. I think she looks unhealthy. I'm going to choose my words a little more carefully. Not unhealthy in the sense that she's an unhealthy person. She looks like unathletically thin.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
She looks unathletic. I don't know. Who am I to say anything? But I'm saying I just think she looks like she's standing next to Bianca, who is an athlete in every sense of the word, right? Or Mia, who is an athlete in every sense, or Rhea, who comes across like athletes. I am an athlete, and Becky came in. She looks small. She looks frail.
Yeah,
she looks very frail to me. Like she looks like. Not that it's unhealthy, it's not athletic. There's a difference. Clearly, she's insanely healthy, insanely fit in that regard, but she doesn't look like a professional athlete to me. Whereas, Charlotte and, Raquel and some of these, I mean, look, and not that she always, but she used to have a little bit more, I don't know, like maybe it was hidden in toughness. Do you guys think since she's come back, she doesn't look physically?
I completely agree. I agree, John, and it's the same issue I used to have with Zack Sabre Jr. flipping the coin to the male wrestlers. I used to think, what an amazing athlete this guy is. He's a great wrestler, great technical wrestler, but he weighed about 150 pounds soaking through. And I used to think this guy looks like he'll break if he took a German suplex. And I get that same impression with Becky Lynch as well. Zack Sabre Jr. has put on some weight, and he looks good for it now. I think Becky... before she left to have a child and stuff, which is completely understandable that she might come back looking a bit different.
Of course.
But I completely get where you're coming from. Yeah.
I think the thing with Becky as well, I think you're saying that as well, John, is she's supposed to be this badass ass kicker, whereas she looks like she couldn't kick anybody's ass now.
Yeah.
So, I'm not buying into it anymore. So yeah, it's just not something I'm believing or buying into.
Even like Ronda looks like a fighter. I mean, she has like physicality to her, regardless of her performance last night. Whatever. I'm just saying, like, Becky's supposed to be this last kicker, tough Irish girl, doesn't take no shit. We watched her nose get broken, and she just kind of stood there and was like rubbing it on her face. And now it looks like, if you put a piece of bread in front of her, she'd faint. You know what I mean? Because she hasn't had a carb in like 3 years. I don't know. I mean, the spot looked cool. I don't know why she needed. They're still committed to making you think she's a big crossover star, which, even my final days in the soup, we were talking about that. She's just not that. Yeah, she's great. She's fine. She's not going to be hosting Saturday Night Live next week. Like, it's just where, I'm sorry. And that moment has come and left.
Do you know what I'd have done? And you might not agree with this. I would have had the heels win, and I'd have had Rhea pin. The way they're pushing in the Judgment Day at the minute is this dominant.
Like she's in charge. She's in charge of Judgment Day.
She should have been the one to get the pin last night and win for the heels.
I would have had the heels win, and I would have had Bianca. Look, Bianca is their top female on one of the two major programs. So Bianca doesn't look not strong, but the fact that Becky had to share that with her, why? Why did Becky have to share that moment? This is Smoke and Mirrors WWE Classic. Clearly, everyone watching the program thinks Bianca is the shit. Everyone thinks she's great. Critics, fans, athletic-wise, looks-wise, for someone who's only been in the business for 4 or 5 years, she looks fucking fantastic, right? Now here's Becky. No, we want this girl. We want you to feel this way about this girl. We want you to feel this way about this girl. So let's let them share this moment. I just thought that was a little shitty to do to Bianca. I don't know, she's the champ. So it's just like, why did Becky have to have the big moment? Like, she's just one, I don't know. They're still trying to make you believe that Becky is something that she maybe was for a short period of time, but she hasn't been, and she's not now.
No,
not that now,
and that's fine. Not be that again. Like you said, that's fine. She had a great moment when she was a crossover star, and it's just not. She's just not got that same star power she had, and that happens. She might do again one day. It's just not at the moment. Yeah.
Listen, they want you to think she's like what Daniel Bryan was like 9 years ago, or 7 or 8 years, 10 years ago. I mean, instead she's just Tito Santana, in 1995 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mentioned Rhea, obviously talking the Judgment Day. I know Cal said he didn't see the match, but AJ Styles, Finn Balor. I don't know about you, Joe. I liked the match, but I thought it could have been a hell of a lot better with the two guys involved.
Yeah, this following the women's match where they were jumping off tables and using kendo sticks and 10 women slapping each other for a half hour. Tough to follow. It seemed like a Raw match. That's my whole thing. AJ and Finn, two of the better in-ring people when they want to be. There's a storyline there. It's been going on for a while. It was a way to utilize the Good Brothers there. It was a way to utilize Judgment Day and give some color to that, storyline. The crowd was interested, in some regard, but I think they were a little taken out of it because of the women's match. But I felt like it was just a Raw match. I know Calum, you just didn't see that, right?
I didn't see the match, but I had a feeling it was either going to be a 5-star classic or fall flat like Styles Nakamura did. And remember when we was all saying Styles Nakamura at WrestleMania 34 was going to be amazing.
You've completely gone, Callum.
Am I here now?
Callum, you sound like a bot. You sound like a bot.
Am I here now?
Oh, he's back.
Oh, you're back.
Callum, like he's having
your avatar program dropped there. You're a bot for a second.
It must be my internet. What I was saying,
it's your Jay White avatar that you have now.
What I was saying is, I felt like it might fall flat like Styles Nakamura did at WrestleMania 34.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the impression I've got so far. I didn't see it, but that's what I imagined it was like. The result? Yeah, I know the result. I don't know how the match went, though.
Yeah.
What was the result of that again? Remind me of the result of that, Jamie. I'm trying to remember what happened at the end.
AJ won with the phenomenal forearm, won clean.
Yes, because he won clean. Yeah, because there was some near falls there towards the end, and then I was getting a little taken out of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It wasn't memorable.
What's your thoughts on the Judgment Day now, Jones? I know we was a bit unsure when we had you last on with the whole Edge thing.
I'm not completely there, but the crowd, everyone else seems to be there now, right? So, I'm not completely on board, but the crowd is. The fans are. That's why they made that video. Clearly, the video doing so well on Thanksgiving is a byproduct of everybody buying into the Judgment Day now. I thought they were going demonic at that point still over the summer. I thought they still might be going supernaturally. Obviously, they didn't do that. We're clearly finding out why, because we're having Bray do that now. So that's probably why they didn't do that. But maybe that's a reason or not. But yeah, I mean, I like everybody involved except Dom. Dominic still seems like he doesn't belong there personally. I don't know. They could have got somebody a little bit more grittier. Rhea's great. I'm a big fan of Rhea's. I'm glad Rhea's finally getting used properly.
Do you think Priest's going to be a big player in the future?
I think so. I think there's no reason to rush the guy. The guy's been around a long time, but not in mainstream television. Like he was a Ring of Honor guy for like 10 years or some shit, right? He was an indie guy for like 15 years. So he's not a young dude. But they like his look. They like his size. He could probably go his own way. You know what I mean? Everybody there, except for Dominic, probably can go their own way. But it seems to be working right now. I'd like this AJ thing to end. I'm curious where they go now. Let's see what happens. Who's next? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I dare say, and this is a big call for me. Damian Priest, I think, could be potentially that next Undertaker kind of character. I think there's something about the guy. There's something dark about him. He's big. He's built. He's got that big, deep voice.
Jimmy, I hate to say this, but anytime you've said on Ringsiders historically, so-and-so could be the next big something, they've either been fired or fallen completely flat.
Yes. He said that about Manitar. He said that about the
Giant Gonzalez.
He said that he started the Giant Gonzalez fan club many years ago.
And no disrespect to Bobby Roode, but you said a few years ago, Robert Roode, next Triple H, he should have been. You're absolutely right, he should have been, but you swore by it that he'd be the next Triple H. Well, where is he?
I'm gonna put all my money on the table right now. I think Damian Priest is gonna be the next big.
Okay. Yeah, they like him. Look, they like him.
They do like him. I hope you're right, Jimmy.
You can tell. Well, I'll tell you what, though, Callum, you could see that they're behind him.
They are behind him. Yeah,
they're behind him. They're not giving him shit. They're giving him chicken salad.
He's being booked well.
Some chicken salad. Yeah, not chicken shit. Like he's being booked well. They booked him well as a baby face. I didn't like him as the baby face, but they liked him as a baby face. So I think at least his better role as a heel. Yeah. Now a monster heel is a good role for him instead of the crew, but he's the hitter in that crew. Obviously, he's the big guy. So let's see where they go. I'd like to see what they do next. What's Judgment Day's next move? Let's get this AJ thing done. Let's move on from AJ.
I'd like to see Judgment Day have, as a faction, have individual feuds where it's not just all of them feuding with one person or another group. Have Damien feuding with a person and Balor feuding with somebody. They don't all have to help each other all the time. Have separate feuds like they used to back in the day. I'd be well up for that.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Yeah, that's well, if they're belt holders, they will. Do
you think we're going to see, obviously, the Edge storyline revisited when he comes back, or do you think that's
unfortunately, unfortunately, I don't know. I mean, they also might not want Edge working with just anybody and everybody. That could be a part of it as well because of his injuries and things like that. So, and I don't know. I just would like to see them. I mean, you would think maybe they would want a belt, right? Like they want some titles. I don't know. Maybe you know what I mean? Like go after a belt. Go after one of the 8 belts that's available to you.
Well, this is it. I mean, give me Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley all day long.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah, for sure.
Give me that. And this is the thing. Actually, I know before we talk about the main men's match as well. Talking about belts, I was going to say Balor going for a world title. Do you think we need to get one of them belts off Roman onto Raw?
No, not now. It's working. I mean, not now. And there's other belts, right? I mean, look. I mean, we're going to obviously get to it probably sooner than later. But take the U.S. title for example, and how much more they've sort of put into that.
They're pushing that now, aren't they? They really are, which I did like as well. Obviously, Triple H is a big old school fan, isn't he? And made a big deal out of that belt when he got took control. He did the whole video package, which I love because that US title is a very prestigious.
Oh, sure. Title. I remember going back to me. I remember my earliest memories are probably when Magnum TA had it. They made a big deal out of it and stuff like that, and was feuding with Nikita Koloff. It was a headlining feud in the old WCW, NWA, or whatever it was called at the time. Like that was a big deal. But the match that preceded the Finn match, was that the Ronda match?
Yeah, Ronda Shotzi.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't pay much attention to that match. I just cannot.
Neither did Ronda.
I can't get into Ronda Rousey. I cannot buy into it. I just don't.
It's a problem. It's a problem. So the match was mercifully short. Yeah. Look, I like Shotzi. She's becoming Big Show with the face and heel turns. I don't quite understand why. It's a little much. I liked her better as a babyface. Nobody really wanted her to be a heel. Wasn't working. Ronda is clearly just getting a paycheck. The pain from her and Shayna, who's good in the ring. Shayna, she is. I think Shayna's great in the ring. The pain of them together, like one of them not wanting to be there and the other one just wanting to, be with her friends, and it's just like them talking in the ring was awful. Like that thing Friday, it was one of the worst segments.
It's too much. It's
too much.
I skipped it.
It's too much. Well, people were just destroying it on the internet. And then the big, the move, if you guys remember the move that I guess Ronda helped botch when Shotzi had her little comeback there and she dropped her. They dropped the outside of the ring, and the announcers had to kind of cover for it. Look, Ronda was great. Ronda is a star. Ronda clearly doesn't need to be there. Ronda clearly doesn't want to be there.
No,
I don't know. I just leave. It's fine. She doesn't like it. She's never going to give you the quality you deserve. Now, of course, maybe if she was in there with somebody else, somebody can make the argument. Say, well, Ronda will show up to fight. She'll look better if she's in the ring with like a Becky or a Bianca or Charlotte or okay, but she's not going to be in the ring with them 70% of the year. So it's like, not more. So it's like Ronda's role should be to make Shotzi and Liv, people like that, look good. Who aren't, Shotzi's okay. Liv is terrible, but Shotzi's pretty good. She's not terrible. She's good. She's okay. Yeah. She's definitely better than okay. So it's like, if you're not even helping this person who's good look better, it's like, what's the point of this? And I don't know. What did you guys think?
Do you think they're going to build us to a Ronda Shayna match, or are we just getting the usual?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Maybe Ronda's going to put her friend over, and that's maybe the plan the whole time. Was like, eventually we'll do a turn and I'll put Shayna over.
Because I actually like Shayna. Like you said, Shayna can go.
I like watching her.
Yeah, I think she's good.
I've said this.
My fear is to go for the whole Charlotte returns and we get Ronda and Charlotte again. I mean, I'm done with the Ronda experiment. She's not interested, is she? She's just.
And the crowd is turning on it as well.
Yeah.
She's no longer perceived like. Yeah, the fans see that she doesn't want to be there. It's almost insulting to them because they're paying her salary. What do you think, Callum? What are you going to say about Ronda?
Yeah, I've said this before. Ronda absolutely sucks ass. Shayna is my favorite female wrestler on the roster.
Man, I like Shayna quite a bit.
I think Shayna is awesome. She seems like the kind of wrestler who, she's believable when she's beating someone up. She looks good. Yeah. All of her shit looks good. And if this is a way of getting the belt on Shayna at some point, I'm fine. I'll forgive all of this shit with Shotzi last night.
Maybe this is it. But Callum, maybe that's what this has been about. Like Ronda's like, look, I really don't want to be here. Let's do some programs. Let me elevate my friend. She deserves it. She's good. Now I don't want Shayna to be a baby face here. That's my concern. It's just like, no. This does not work. Yeah. She's a heel. She's not a likable.
Yeah. She's just not likable.
She's the person who beats up the person you like.
Yeah.
Go back to Shayna's NXT work. She was incredible. My God, she's
brilliant.
Incredible NXT.
Big fan. I like her. I'm happy that she's in a good program like that with Ronda, whatever. Now she's going to be Ronda's muscle, but we know where that ends. I just hope it doesn't end like it did with Miz and what's his face. Like
Alex Riley.
Alex Riley. Yeah, I don't want her to be like Alex Riley, who's pure garbage. But she's good. Look, Shayna's outlived a lot of people, guys, in the last 5, 6, 7 years. Like Shayna's outlived everybody practically. So there's a reason for it. Shayna's stuff looks good. Shayna is one note. Let her play the note. That note is, I'm going to beat up the girl that you like. I'm going to punch the girl that you like in the face. And let her keep doing that.
The thing about Shayna is she's the schoolyard bully. She's that's all she needs to be. Is if you have a toy, she's going to break it. If you like somebody, she's going to beat them up. That's all she needs to be.
Let her take your lunch money. Let her take everybody's lunch money.
Yeah,
I like that about her. She's, even like, when she's in like a tag team or something, and she still looks good. Let her be a heater type character, like the person that the good guy really has to overcome, like what Ronda was supposed to be, right? Like with that Liv program. Ronda was supposed to be completely unbeatable, and Liv was supposed to be the mousy, like, I could probably beat you if I really try and I really set myself. But Ronda never really committed to selling that, and Liv isn't good enough, so that fell, right? So I think Shayna and Ronda could probably have a good feud. And I know Ronda would do everything she could to make Shayna look great, and Shayna would have to carry her, which I think she could. So, but coming out of the Shotzi match, I don't like. It was bad. It was sloppy. Ronda's not great. The fans are really not into Ronda being there anymore. Let's see how much longer they'll allow this to go on. I don't know what kind of contract Ronda has.
Agreed.
But hopefully it's ending sooner than later.
And a step up from the Shotzi Ronda match. Obviously, we had the triple threat for the US Championship, which was a vast improvement, if you ask me. Which is Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, Seth Rollins. It's a weird match on paper, but for me, it really worked as a triple threat. What did you think, John?
I was surprised that I liked it. I was surprised because I thought none of the three of them couldn't gel. First and foremost, Rollins is probably one of the most over heels in terms of the fans like Rollins. It's wild. I'm bored to death of this already with Rollins. I am in the minority. I am not a buying ticket holder. The buying ticket holders are into Seth Rollins. They want him to win, even as a bad guy. They like when he's a dick. Lashley's working out well. I like him better as a heel, but he works well for a babyface for sure. And now this Austin Theory thing, I don't really know what to make of it because I did not see that outcome. I think the fans, I will say this, I think the fans were genuinely unhappy with the outcome. I think they did not want to see Theory win, not because they don't like the character, but because they like Seth the most. And and they want to sing Seth's dopey song at the end and all that other stuff. Were you guys surprised? I mean, obviously the match quality was good. It was good back and forth, not the way any of us thought this was going to end. What did you guys think of the reaction to Theory winning at the end?
I a bit like what you said. The fans, I think, generally didn't want it. They're into Rollins. I thought Rollins would retain.
Me too.
But I also see why they're giving it to Theory. I think this is going to be a long US title run now. I get the feeling that they're going to push him as one of the next top guys as well, and they're putting everything behind him. To me, he's got that John Cena thing about him. He's got that cookie cutter look, like Cena did. Right. I think eventually he's going to be a big baby face.
But can I just make a prediction now? Now you've mentioned it, I was going to mention.
He's an ex-Undertaker.
Yes, he's an ex-Undertaker. No, I actually think
he's the next Paul Bearer. I predict he's the next Paul Bearer.
I think he's keeping the belt until Mania, and I think he's defending it against John Cena. I think that's the match.
Oh, that's a long. Wow. Okay. That's
I think it's good. Idea. I think John Cena, Austin Theory is happening.
As a baby, though,
I think John Cena as a
Austin. But is Austin a baby face right now? Is Theory a baby face now?
I wouldn't say so.
He's a tweener.
Yeah, tweener.
No, I think he's a heel, isn't he? But the thing is, you saying that because I've also heard the rumor of Austin Theory is going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin's opponent at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I would say Austin Theory would probably fit better in that Cena story.
But I've also
maybe Bad Bunny or something. Maybe they bring Bad Bunny back. Yeah. That'd be kind of fun, right?
But I've also heard Stone Cold Steve Austin potentially could be facing Baron Corbin at WrestleMania next year.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that. Baron Corbin's a safe worker. I can see him wrestling Stone Cold. The reason I think it'll be Austin Theory, John Cena is because Austin, throughout the year, has been dropping the hints about Cena is his idol growing up. He wants to beat John Cena. Now he's won the US Championship. It just seems like they're planting the seeds for a big match at Mania.
Yeah.
But
do you need the belt to tell that story, though, Callum? I don't think you need the belt to tell
You don't need the belt, but John Cena is not going to be going for the WWE Championship or the Universal.
Oh God, no! Yeah.
So and with John Cena being quite a prominent US champion in the past, it was the first championship that John Cena won at WrestleMania. So yeah, there maybe is a little bit of crossover there.
And the last one that he held.
Exactly.
And the last one that he held.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I like that story. It was a fine match. I thought the match was good. I didn't. The crowd was genuinely. It was stunned. I mean, they kept showing how stunned everyone was, but it wasn't happy stunned. It was like, oh, what?
Really?
Yeah.
Like, like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, like, oh, come on, like, like that. Like, it wasn't like, holy shit, he won. Wow, I didn't think that was gonna happen. It was more like, why? I don't like this guy.
Do you think as well? Do you think they're gonna pull the plug soon and just go full babyface with Rollins?
I think it's kind of happening organically. The fans don't want to. The fans think Rollins is a big star. Look, this is not me. The fans think Rollins is A-list celebrity.
Yeah.
Nobody is like when he walks that. Look, they turn that dumb song into something like that song's giving him resurgence. Like you do that for a person you like. We don't do that for people.
Yeah.
They're not doing that for Baron Corbin. They're doing that for Seth Rollins. And it's, for better or for worse, they see him as a star.
Yeah.
I think we will probably get the more babyface Seth. There's a lot of people saying there'll be babyface Seth versus heel Cody in WrestleMania. Like, as a revenge match, so Rollins can get some heat back from that because he's done the job for him a couple of times.
3 times
so who
in
knows?
a row.
But he's done the job. Yeah, clean. I mean, he's done clean jobs for him. So it's like he kind of owes him those wins back. That being said, I have no interest in a huge Seth Rollins pusher anymore. I think him and his wife should just go hang out at the daycare for a little bit, go to the park with the baby, maybe go have lunch somewhere. Maybe, I don't just. I could use a Seth Rollins detox.
So sometimes it's good to maybe go away for a while and then come back. Let the fans miss you. Come back. I get that. I mean, I'm a big Seth Rollins guy, but I get sick to death of the goofy laugh and stuff. I'm good. I need a break for that for a little bit. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm a big fan of Seth in ring work. I think he's fantastic, but I'm with you on that, John. I do agree with you on that. But
I'm gonna disagree with you both. I want more Seth Rollins. I want
heel or babyface though. Heel or babyface.
Just as he is now is fine. This is absolutely fine how he is. I don't think it needs to.
Yeah, like I said, it's working.
A defined 10 or anything. I'm one of those people. Absolutely, I love Seth Rollins. And I'm loving what he's currently doing. And I love that there is a bit of a difference between, you wanting to take a break, I'm wanting more. I think that as long as we have an opinion on him, that's the main thing. But yeah, I love Seth Rollins. I want him to be champion again one day. But maybe, like you said, maybe he does need to go away. As much as I love him, maybe he does need to go away to have that big comeback. He's never going to have the comeback if he doesn't go away. So maybe it would be a good idea.
I agree. I do. Well, the big one, John, the main event, the War Games. It's almost a side topic compared to the actual storyline.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I look. There was a lot of hype going into this match. The big story was Sammy. The story was Sammy going to turn? Was he not going to turn? Were they going to turn on Sammy? They've been building this up and long-term storytelling. And even that night they showed more stuff in the back. And why was he talking to Kevin Owens? Look, from a storyline perspective, you don't get better than what they were doing there. You just don't. Yeah. This is why you watch wrestling. You cannot, the amount of people I have seen cross the aisle that don't like WWE or big AEW people saying that this is what wrestling is supposed to be. This is the best. This is the best we've seen storyline wise in a very long time. It's it's long term. It translates from the TV show to the pay-per-view. It has layers to it. It has twists to it. And even when you think you know what's going to happen, you don't really see for what it is.
I said this to Callum before you came on. I still, at some point to me, they're still going to turn on Sammy. But we don't
maybe even tomorrow. Maybe even tomorrow. That would be hilarious. I mean, how do we know tomorrow he doesn't get jumped on Raw? I don't know, like just to jump him or Friday, whatever. Like, honestly, you still think they're going to turn on? I mean, look, the match being what it is, the match was fine. There's a lot of guys in that match, like Ridge and Dunn. They have no shot at being in a main event in the WWE. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're never going to be that level. Mm-hmm. You know, like they're just not. Like Solo hasn't been there long enough. You know, Solo Sikoa has not been there long enough to really be like that invested. I'm not. You know, Pete Dunne is very small. Butch, whatever they call him. You know, he's. Sheamus and Drew. Obviously, we've seen this dance a million times. We've seen all this. The big story behind everything was whatever was going to happen with Sammy, what was going to happen. Yeah. And I actually thought Sammy was going to turn.
Well,
I thought Sammy would have done a double turn, like, or maybe fucked up with them both and then left. Like, that would have been interesting.
I thought at the end of the match, obviously, we know the Bloodline won. Correct decision in my opinion as well.
Mm-hmm. Of course, yeah.
Obviously. I thought they were going to turn on him then after he'd helped them win. And for a split second, I just thought they're going to turn on him now. But they did it. And what I do say as well, Callum, the reaction from the fans when Jay hugged Sammy.
It was played to perfection. It really was. Yeah, like they hit every note that they needed to. Like you said, with the little stories backstage, it planted all the right seeds. It deceived us at last second. It made us think one thing and went another way. I love that, like I said to Jamie before we recorded, I like to have no idea about how a match is going to end. Like, if I don't know how it's going to end, I'll be interested.
That's the beauty of wrestling.
With this one, you don't know if Sammy's going to turn, if they're going to turn on Sammy. There's so many components to the match, and I love it. I love it, and I'm so glad that they didn't turn on him, because it means we get some more Sammy in the Bloodline. But they're going to turn at some point. We know they're going to turn. Yeah, we just have no idea when, which means you're going to keep tuning in to find out.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it. You don't know when it's going to come. We all thought something was going to happen last night, and it didn't. So that you just don't know when. And it's
smart money would have been last night to end it, and have it go a different direction. It did. Dude, the fans went crazy when Jay hugged him. Yeah. They went nuts. I mean, they were screaming for this. They were and then when Sammy starts freaking out at the end, like this is like going crazy and all raising. People are into it. Look, it's got layers to it. It's got comedy to it. It's got like the real life friendship that everybody knows that he has with Kevin Owens, and it's, they haven't been on the same page for a long time, and and it's like Kevin Owens has this sort of ongoing thing with Sammy that's been that was been going on for decades now, practically at this point, that they've been each other's life. So, and then of course it's how much longer will the Bloodline want to live in Rome? Will the Bloodline all turn on Roman? And then will that be a thing? Will Paul turn? Will Solo Sikoa turn? Will Kevin? Is this a plan with Kevin and Sammy all along? We don't know.
This is it, because I'll call it right now. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens will walk out of WrestleMania as tag team champions.
You think so? Yeah, that'd be wild. That's a great ending to this. Look, there's a lot of people that think maybe Sammy could beat Roman. Maybe that would be like Brian. I mean, well, let me ask you guys this, because obviously the match being what it was fine for a War Games match. But really the undercurrent the whole night was the Sammy thing. Like, as much as the back and forth with Sheamus going up to do this, or Drew doing that, or like you knew what this had. There was only one thing on everybody's mind the whole match, and it was, what is going to happen with Sammy and Kevin? What is going to happen with Sammy and Jay? What is going to happen with Sammy and Roman? What's going to, what is it happen now? Okay, no, it's not now. Okay, maybe it'll happen later. Okay, all right, 5 more minutes go by. Okay, I guess it's going to happen soon, right? Okay, another 5 minutes. Okay, I was so distracted by this, and the fans were waiting and waiting for that final moment where it's like, just the three of them standing there at the end. And that the haluva kick at the end was great. And then he lets Jay hit the finisher. Roman doesn't even get the pin. I mean, it's just, dude, it was really good. It was a perfect storyline. Yeah. I don't know what anyone could watch that and go, no, this isn't why I watch wrestling.
Yeah, like, exactly.
That's why you watch wrestling. That's the reason most people watch wrestling.
Yeah, and Callum said a good thing to me earlier, didn't you as well, Callum? I said how over Sammy is, and Callum actually said to me, he said, Sammy's already a babyface. He's a babyface surrounded by heels.
Yeah.
And he's right. He's right. Yeah. He's just so over. And hats off to Sammy, because he's playing this perfectly.
Perfectly. Who could? I mean, if we look back as we go to the end of the year, obviously some of the bigger stories throughout the year were Cody, the CM Punk story, the thing with the Bucks, MJF winning the belt, and this. These are the stories of 2022. Mm-hmm. This is the story. This is your 2020. This is your best of. That to me was one of the best things I think we could all agree that we probably saw all year. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know that you're going to see something better between now and the end of the year. I just don't. I don't expect to. Do you?
No. And you think as well how it started. It started off by Sammy just being that annoying idiot that wanted to
long-term storytelling. Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, long-term booking, guys. I mean, we complain that we don't see it. We complain that they don't do it. We complain nobody does it. So when they do it and it works, we got to go.
Exactly. Yeah, you've got to reward good behavior, and that's what's happening here. The fans are eating it up, and rightfully so. And like I said, we always complain that we don't get that long-term story that we can sink our teeth into and look back on in 10 years' time and go, do you remember how good that story was? Because let's be honest, how long has it been since that's happened? We're always talking about 20 years ago. We're never talking about 10 years ago.
I said to Callum, this is the best long-term storyline since the Mega Powers exploded.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people feel like this, like, and also let's face it, the Roman thing could have died on the vine because it's very one note. It's I'm the best. These are my cousins. We're the best. Every week we're going to come out and say we're the best, and then we're going to cheat to win mostly, but we're the best. Okay, this has been going on for 2 years, so it's just like 2 fucking years, guys. I mean, like, this is a long time. But to throw Sammy in there and then have him do the Usi thing, and dude, they're gonna call him Sammy Uso. Like, it's almost a guarantee that his name, they're gonna change his name. So he earned the name. They toyed it as like, could he just be Sammy Uso? Like, I could see that Friday, the coronation of Sammy instead of being an honorary Us. Like, and Sammy is into it. And by the way, this is Sami Zayn. This is not the biggest guy. This is not the tallest guy. This is not the most shredded guy. This is not the youngest attractive guy. This is a guy who was an internet darling, under a mask 12 years ago when most people didn't know who he was. Like, outside of like indie wrestling, El Generico. Like most people, like Sammy could have Nakamura'd his last 2 years and just fucking phoned it in. He could have Nakamura'd it and just not given a shit and just done the bare minimum, which Ronda did. And instead, Sammy is reinventing himself. He looks batshit crazy with the crazy hair and the red beard. I mean, he just looks like a crazy homeless Antifa guy. And it's just like, he does. He looks like a shirtless Antifa guy. That's what he looks like. He looks like a guy outside of some Antifa thing screaming at going at the Republican National Convention. But it's like, but dude, even like when Sammy walks out with them, he's moshing, he's screaming, like he's into it. He is so into his work. And by the way, man, it shows. How much more invested are we because he's into it, right? Like,
yes.
All right, let me ask you a question, John. So we're saying about how good Sammy is in this role, and a lot of it is down to him being amazing at it. But do you think this role would have worked with anybody else? If you go back to the start, where it was Sammy just being that annoying little side piece to the story, if this was, say, Pete Dunne, for example, or anybody else, do you reckon this would have worked, or did it have to be Sammy?
I think we got to see the personality that we didn't really get to see from him because he was this baby face in a hat and a coat, skanking, walking out like like that. And you can only do that. Somebody kept getting hurt, and he had some big injuries, and then they made him a bad guy, and I think it's just a combination of right place, right time. I'll give you look, we go be given an opportunity. How we react to it is how we react to it. He reacted to it as his contract was coming up. Let's not forget his contract, I think, was coming up a couple of years ago. And everyone's like, he needs to go to AEW and be El Generico with Kevin Steen. And they could fight FTR. Sammy, he'd be on Dark right now. If he
he would.
Yeah, he would. You're right. He would.
He would be on Dark Elevation. Like you would never see. He'd be in the back. He'd be standing behind Danhausen.
Okay? Wait, John. Let's get it right. He'd be on Dark Elevation for 4 months. He'd have one random match with Ishii on Rampage, and then we wouldn't see him again for 4 months. He'd come back to have a random Ring of Honor title shot and then disappear.
Yeah.
It's just random. Yeah, that would be it.
He would have had nothing. And it's like the same thing with Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens could have been what Moxley is in AEW for sure. You can't tell me otherwise. I mean, that's really Moxley's doing Kevin Owens in AEW.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Owens is the guy to me.
He's fantastic. I mean, come on, he's Moxley. Like Kevin Owens is that. Like when Moxley was 10 years ago in the Shield, Kevin Owens was doing that in the Indies, right? So so that kind of character. So Kevin could have done that. Could Sammy have done that? Probably not. I think Sammy needed to be Sammy because he's so, I mean, look, he's pale as a ghost. He's a ginger. I mean, he's with all these Samoan diesel guys covered in tattoos. And Sammy looks like he's a sandwich away from being out of shape. And it's just like, he's not really, and he's pasty and he's weird. And he's like, he's got, his hair is all over the place. Like he looks like Sideshow Bob. And you couldn't have done that with Austin Theory. I mean, you couldn't have done that with Pete Dunne. You couldn't have done that with, Cross.
No.
It had to be Sammy because Sammy has that personality. He's aloof and he looks funny. Sammy looks funny.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you did say one thing that I haven't actually thought about, which you could be onto there. You mentioned a few minutes ago. Maybe Sammy and Kevin have been in on this all the way from the start.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I've never thought about that, but you've just got me thinking. I'd love that. I would love that.
Like they come forward and go, this was our way of taking the Roman Empire down.
Yeah.
We had to take it down from within. And by the way, that works for me. I think that kind of works.
Absolutely.
Maybe Roman rewards Sammy with a title match for all this hard work. You know what I mean? Thinking that Sammy's going to lie down, and then KO interferes and helps Sammy win. Maybe it's a non-title, and then if he wins, he gets there's so many places we can go now. It's not over. And that's what I think I like the most about the storyline is that just when you think you're going to get tired of it, it's not over. And you're not tired of it. You're not going, oh, I just wanted this to end, guys. I just wanted them to move on. Are you ready for this to move on? I'm not even close to ready.
No. I do not want this to
end. I want more. I don't want it to end. I want more. I don't want it. Honestly, I don't.
I think it's going to go up to Mania. I think they're going to, because I read something a few weeks ago where there was the plan was for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to reunite and stuff. But apparently Triple H has basically said, no, this is working too well.
Let's be honest. It has to go to Mania, right? We're so close to Mania. It has to go. It'd be a travesty to end it before.
Well, Survivor Series is coming up, and then the Rumble. Pardon me. The Rumble's coming up. We saw the commercial for the Rumble yesterday, obviously, and now we're 6 weeks away from the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I mean, So look, man, I'm not gonna lie. If you would have asked me this over the summer, I would have laughed. But if you're telling me that potentially Sammy could beat Roman for the belt as a huge swerve in some capacity or something like that, like they do a three-way thinking that Sammy and Roman are just going to kill Kevin, and it's Sammy and Kevin had this plan for a long term as best friends going all the way, like they've discussed this for years, that this is the only way to stop Roman, that we knew we couldn't do it any other way, that it had to be this way, and it had to be us. Dude, Sammy penning Roman after 2.5 years and losing of all people to Sammy.
I love it.
Are you kidding?
With help from Jey Uso would be the icing on the cake, the chef's kiss. If it was Jey Uso who helped Sammy, and then oh my God. So this has just come to my mind, right? So Sammy helped Jey get the win last night. He presented him and said, "There you go, do it." wouldn't it be amazing if down the line it was Jay who helped Sammy beat Roman and then said to him, yeah, you do it now, and let him get the pin on Roman Reigns to return the favor. Because it was Jay originally, he was the one who went all for all that shit with Roman Reigns. I want to see Jay get his receipt on Roman Reigns as well. I want to see him get his revenge as well.
This is the thing as well, like, as far as I was concerned, WrestleMania, Cody was going to take the belt off Roman. Now I think Cody's been pushed out of the picture.
Cody.
But also you could still say that too. Like Cody just missed 80% of the year, so there's no reason. Like for Cody might not be healthy, so we don't even know. Like that could be because Cody's not 100%, so we go to something else.
True.
You know, I mean, Cody doesn't have to beat Roman to establish. He could beat somebody else. I don't know. I mean, they still see money with him and Seth because Seth never got like any of that back. So. Or, you know, maybe you move him into like, Cody there's lots of Cody could work with other people. It's not like, maybe Cody works with Edge. I don't fucking know. Like, who the fuck knows? Like, we just don't know what we're going to get out of Cody.
No.
Cody, because he's not in the picture. I think Sammy right now is red hot.
Yeah.
Sammy's looking like a guy who could possibly get a belt, could get the title. Like, even if it's for a brief, even if it's just for a little bit, the fans would be behind it for sure. They would be behind it. I think Sammy beating Roman clean, even if it's not clean, but Sammy penning Roman after all of this, being the whipping boy and earning and having to like basically be on the bottom of the food chain and then working his way up to a right hand position, only to do a Shakespearean thing and then help and be the Brutus to his Caesar.
I love it.
Here's one thing. Obviously, before we start to wrap up as well and everything. The Royal Rumble's coming up. What's your thoughts on the Rumble? Could Sami Zayn win the Rumble?
And then that's how this story goes. Like Sammy accidentally wins the Rumble.
Yeah,
then they go, "You're going to give up that shot, right, Oos?" Like right, Sammy. Oos. And it's like, well, I'm not really feeling very Oosy right now. Like like that. Like you could see it. Like maybe Sammy does need to win it. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of people are thinking if Cody's healthy, Cody walks in and wins it. I mean, with no builds, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's.
I get the feeling you're going to get Kevin Owens against Roman at the Rumble. But, I mean, even Kevin Owens could win the Rumble. I think they're going to somehow carry on that storyline with Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn potentially winning the Rumble. Well,
yeah. Or it comes down to Sammy and Jay, and Sammy tells the Bloodline, if I have the opportunity, I will lay down and win and let all of you win if I have to do it. I will not win the Rumble. And then it comes down to him and Jay's like, all right, like, let's go. You said you were going to lie down. And then he doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a good way to tell. Look, we don't know what we're going to get, but we're all invested. Right. And that's a winner. It was, they did a good job. I thought it was a very solid show. The highlight to me clearly was the main, for sure. And I thought the women did a decent job. And the three-way. I could have been happy just with those three matches.
I agree.
Okay for me.
Yeah.
Totally.
I didn't need to see the AJ match was not bad. It just was not necessary. And the Ronda match was, I don't know that anyone's going to tell you otherwise. That was the worst thing on the night. That was pretty terrible.
Yeah, I didn't pay much attention to that. But like you said, I can't remember the last time I was this invested in a storyline.
Yeah.
I really can't.
Do you guys think this is the hottest thing in the industry right now? I think it is.
Absolutely.
By far.
Absolutely. There's nothing can touch this at the moment.
The hottest...
I mean, the CM Punk thing with the Bucks, the real life thing there obviously was the thing, for a couple of months up until recently. But as far as in ring and watching a TV show, I think this is.
Yeah.
I don't know how you shit on this. I really don't. I don't know if anybody's doing that.
I agree.
I don't. How are you upset by this? I don't.
And I'll be honest with you as well. I mean, I'm struggling at the moment to watch AEW.
Me too.
I've lost a lot of interest.
I think most of us are, Jamie, if I'm honest.
Yeah. WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, credit to Triple H since he's taken over. But yeah, this storyline is just, it's the greatest thing in such a long time. I'm fully invested. It's the reason I love wrestling. It's got me back,
Yeah. Yeah,
so
coming back to it, and I was happy to watch that. Like normally, look, it does get a little tiresome. Sure, every week the same thing. Like, here we are again. We're the best. We're the ones. We're the this. We're the, okay, yeah. But now you talk about one of the 3 or 4 signature pay-per-views of the season, of the year for sure. It's the number 4, if not number 3, I think. With obviously Mania being 1. I think Survivor Series is probably number 2. But this year's SummerSlam was like a mini WrestleMania. I mean, this year's SummerSlam was a beast. So, and then it's Rumble, Survivor Series, Mania, and SummerSlam. Those are the 4 big things of the year. You expect the biggest storylines and the biggest things to happen at those things. SummerSlam was pretty damn good. I thought it was okay. This was better, I thought. I mean, this, you know, the bad things were bad, but they weren't like, ugh, you know, they're like, you know, the Ronda thing was just unforgivable. But, you know, and then the you know, for 3, it was not a lot of matches for a 3-hour card either. It was like 5 matches, right? Because the War Games matches were like 40 minutes each.
What I love about the Bloodline story is this year we've had so many real life shoot stories which have always just blown any real story, you know, out of the water. Like we've been Brawl Out, for example, you know, everyone was just talking about CM Punk and the Bucks, and any real story was just not, you couldn't compare it, you know. But with this, it's a real story. That's why we watch wrestling, not for the shoot drama, for the storylines. I don't give a fuck about who's fighting backstage. I want a real story. That's why I watch it. And this is what it is. I'm invested. And it's so nice to have a story that isn't a shoot story for a change that everyone's talking about.
Yeah. Well, I want to make a prediction on here now. I'm not saying, I have not put a lot of time into this, but in case this comes through, I want this on the record. I am starting to get the feeling that although it was probably not a work, that some arrangement has been made with CM Punk to turn this into something to make money. I have to, and if you would have asked me this 3 weeks ago, I would have said no. After what I saw this Wednesday on AEW, I refuse to believe they are this stupid. I refuse to believe. I think I'm being worked. I think even if it didn't start out though, I'm not saying it's been a bullshit the whole time.
No, of course
I'm saying that they come to some agreement, some type of agreement where they are going to do something with this, because I can't see any other reason why this childishness and this stupidity and this idiotic response to this and how badly this has been handled. Because the alternative to me is so much worse. I'm hoping there's some measure of, this is why Punk isn't really saying anything, because in 6 months when he can work again, he's going to show up and no one's going to see it coming. And we're all going to fucking have to acknowledge how amazing it is. I want that to be the case. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying I am more optimistic to the thought of that they are working us now, that we are now being worked.
I think you could be right. I think so. Like
I hope I'm right.
I'm not.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
I haven't fully invested in AEW for a while, but I think you could be on to
something.
And
by the way, if they did do that and that was what happened and they just were smart enough to not put it out there and they all came to this agreement because they knew that it was a very tumultuous situation and had some serious and Punk was going to be hurt anyway, so there was no point, you know, because he was hurt and he was going to miss 8 months or 9 months or whatever. My hat will come off and I'll be like, wow, guys, that was brilliant. That was fucking great. What a smart, brilliant thing to do, to have that work out and have him come back out and have them and push that, because that's what you should do. That's what you're supposed to have happen. Right. And they're only going to do, and by the way, you know, that would make all of this worth it to me, because otherwise what was all of this worth? Wasn't worth anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It hurt. It buried the look, the company's hurt by this. The ratings are clearly affected by this. The live gates are affected by this. You know, the fans are completely split over it. It's not helping. You have to, the only thing that could, I think, save it at this point is CM Punk walking out in 5 months or 6 months with no pretense, hearing the music while everyone's like, maybe the ratings dipped and this got, you know, these people are unhappy and fans are unhappy and no one really knows what's going on for the last 8 months. And then you hear that song and you go, get the fuck out of here. He'll be being trolled, and he walks right the fuck out with a crazy beard and just stares at the Bucks and Omega, and everybody in the arena is going, oh my God, this was a fucking work.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine, right? That'd be amazing if that happened.
Like all of us, we would open like this. This, you just see a collective gasp. And by the way, ratings up the ass, gate up the ass, merch up the like right. It could be the only answer for next year for them, right? Because the way it's looking, WWE is just on this ride. Not that they're Teflon. Even when we don't like it, it doesn't matter because so many people do. It doesn't matter. They're making billions of dollars, right? They have hot crowds, right? Their storylines are working. This is the thing I think that could really, really bring that back where it was 9 months ago, a year ago with people, right? Where it was like, look at all these great guys they have, and it's so hot, and the TV show's great, and look, I'm going to watch CM Punk wrestle on TV. This is crazy, and like, and all this other stuff, and we're enjoying it. And now it's just kind of like, these guys aren't here tonight. A lot of empty seats. It's like, that whole section looks empty from my TV show. People fighting on the internet. This is the one thing that could, I think, really shake everything up. Yeah. Plus, also, you have to remember that could be the case. When I think Punk, he had like a major surgery. That could be around like after Mania. Look, they're going to get their ass kicked by WWE for the next couple of months with Mania and stuff like that through the winter. And you're telling me that's their answer to the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania as CM Punk walks out on that TV show that way? Like, come on, man. It's like out of nowhere. Like with Kenny maybe having the belt at that point and the Bucks having the tag team belt and them of the tree. And they're like having all the belts and being assholes for months on TV. I hope that's the case. I don't know that I'm right, but in case that goes that way, I wanted it on the record that I think that would possibly work.
I think it could be, and I'm down for that. If we're being worked, I'm happy to be worked for something.
I'm happy to be worked.
Absolutely, absolutely. But John, we'll call it there because not only is it time for me to go pick up my lovely, beautiful girlfriend,
of course,
I've also got to make a phone call to my father, who's not been very well. So
well, I hope he feels better.
Well, thank you very much. I do have it on record though that Mr. Rivers Johansson will be here for the Royal Rumble. I'm sure you will be. Obviously, you'll be coming along for the Rumble.
Do I have his? Well, that's nice of you to invite me, Jamie, but he did not give me permission, so you'll have to get permission from Rivers.
This is true. He did say to me. Well, I say he said to me, but apparently it's Callum that works for him and sent the message. But
Callum will ask him.
Wait, can you ask Mr. Johansson if I'm allowed to come back from the Rumble?
I will ask him, John, and I'll message you in your DMs. I'll let you know.
Yes, let me know if I'm allowed.
No guarantees, but
allows it.
I'll try.
If he allows my return, I will. Am I allowed to look into the camera when he's speaking, or should I look away every time he comes?
I will ask the tribal chief if that is allowed.
When he talks, we have to do this every time. Okay.
He is the tribal chief of Ringsiders Wrestling.
He's the tribal chief.
I will ask him. I'm his Sami Zayn.
You're his Sammy.
Yeah.
And then I'm the Paul Heyman in this equation.
Absolutely, Paul Heyman. Yeah.
I'm the advocate. Rivers Johansson is my tribal chief.
In that case, I'd like to be Kevin Owens.
No, you're Jamie Uso.
You could be Jim. Yeah, you're Jimmy Uso. You're Jay.
You're Jay.
Yeah, well, there is no Jimmy Uso. He's the one everybody likes. None of us are that liked. None of us can be Jimmy. Everybody loves Jimmy. None of us are Jimmy. We're not on that level. But I'll be happy to come back. Yeah, now I'm excited for this. Made me excited. I thought it was an overall solid show with some weak stuff, but the good stuff was great. It made me look forward to seeing what we're going to get on TV Monday and what we're going to get on TV Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I think, John, we're going to have a lot of things to talk about the night after the Rumble.
Yeah, I hope so.
I really do. But yeah, John, as always, man, it's a pleasure. We look forward to this all the time, man, because you're our friend and we love you, man. So
we love you guys as well, man. Well, listen, I love you guys, and let's let this World Cup not interfere in our relationship going forward.
Of course.
Yes.
I'll keep a good thought for your game, and you can keep a good thought for our game. And then, when of course, as long as Mr. Johansson allows us to be friends, we'll stay.
You've got yourself a deal, man.
All right, guys.
I'll see you soon, John. Take care.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.